So yeah, thank you very much again, guys. CEdMA. This was a bit of a surprise awards. You know, I remember sitting in Carl's office over at Google last year after they had won their award and hearing about the fantastic work they had done. And I never thought we'd be kind of aiming for similar ourselves this year. It's been quite a journey from last year to this year, as you'll see during the presentation. There's been a lot going on, but first I'll give you a short introduction about myself and what we do at OSIsoft. So OSIsoft as a company, we are global leaders in critical operations software. You know, having been champions for digital transformation since before it was a buzzword, we've kind of built and refined our Pi system product suite for over 4 decades. And today we're managing over 2 billion data streams across 140 plus countries. And I think importantly from this slide here on the right-hand side is that 24 out of 25 of our first customers are still with us over 30 years later. From our side, you might be surprised to hear, and apologies in advance for the sarcasm, that customer education is crucial. Our customers and partners are smart. You know, they have all the industry knowledge, the expertise, and they know what problems they need to solve. So our job as a group is to give them the skills to get there quickly, you know, accelerate that time to value within their organizations. And we do that by educating across multiple modalities. And historically, that was predominantly done through classroom training. On the slide here, it shows that we have around 17 global training centers across the world, and we do provide a lot of on-site instructor-led training as well. Later, we've kind of started branching into YouTube videos for performance support, and then over recent years, adding our portfolio of online courses, as well as very lately moving into VILT for obvious reasons. Now, in terms of the strategy, that has changed somewhat over the last few years, and our award application kind of highlights some of these changes over 2019 and into the challenges of 2020. And the agenda structure here is going to be kind of following the application process for the Impact Awards, just for consistency. Now, it's OSIsoft, the problem and opportunity we had was that during 2019, we had new executive leadership come in. And as they worked on the longer term strategy, the initial goals were around, of course, strengthening our core markets globally, while focusing profitability through improved cost management and even opportunities for additional revenue through other areas of the business, especially into 2020 and the impact that COVID-19 has had. For us as a group for learning, this meant tightening our belts. Previously being a cost center under marketing and having moved at the end of last year to report under customer success operations, I'm sure you can imagine the focus has changed somewhat. So we needed to get ourselves into a position to review our business strategy, to improve processes, while also engaging a much larger number of users to strengthen these core markets for continued success. Now, the goals for 2019 and 2020 have always been to kind of increase the number of trained users that we have, but in a scalable way. Get ourselves into a position to reduce costs, to drive efficiencies, to set a framework for further revenue generation longer term, which is a piece of cake, right? Now, with these very broad desired outcomes, our plan of action came in 3 kind of stages, you know, a 3-pronged attack, if you like. Number 1, technology, getting the right pieces in place. Number 2, content, lots of it, digital. And then number 3 is the consumption of this content to help our customers. Now, in the technology area, we had 2 main projects in desperate need of attention to get us where we wanted to go. First of all, being our learning management system. Our old LMS was built in-house. It had the original purpose of allowing registrations for classroom training centers, And while this worked well, it really didn't serve a growing demand for online learning. And it resulted in us hosting multiple pieces in multiple places, giving a very fragmented learner experience. So we selected SkillJar as our vendor of choice at the end of 2018, but going through the implementation to launch in August 2019. From approval to implementation, we came across the exciting challenges of IT directing all of their resources towards our new CRM system implementation. So competing with a project of that size is never advisable. But after a few deadline changes and a few bumps in the road, we were finally able to get launched in August. And on the other side, with our training cloud environments, this was our other key project, which was actually delivered at the beginning of 2019 in January. Now, our cloud environments are hosted with a large cloud vendor, and the management and the tools that they have are all used within our instructor-led training, our virtual instructor-led training, and they're also baked into all of our self-paced online courses as well, to give that practical hands-on experience as they learn and go through the theory. The problem was that the deployment tool for these was very outdated, resulting in poor performance and very high costs. So it was in need of urgent improvement. And by very high cost, we're talking into the seven figures area. So it was definitely of interest to leadership after some time. And then if 2019 was the year of technology, then 2020 was to be our year of content. We needed new digital content and lots of it. So we started 2020 with a global learning team meeting in Philadelphia. And one of the key discussions there was actually on improving our content process. Instead of creating every course individually, we wanted to be more efficient and start leveraging modules between multiple formats. So using some of the instructor-led training, repurposing into online courses, for example. But with our annual conference due in April and a lot of the work that we do for that, we decided to hold off on these process changes until after our conference. And then came COVID-19. Our annual conference was cancelled. Our 17 global training centres were shut down. Our on-site training services ground to halt. But as we've seen in Joachim's presentation yesterday, dire circumstances definitely brought unplanned opportunities. We were able to repurpose a lot of the hands-on lab content that was developed for the conference and convert that into fully fledged online courses. And this allowed us to effectively double the online course catalogue within a space of 2 months. And this was tackled by several of the team, including, I think, Andreas, who's on the call with us today, who not only created a lot of the video content, but were coaching other engineers in video creation and instructional design to really help create high-quality online course offerings, and from home nonetheless. And this rapid content development framework has been set as our template moving forward as well. So we're going to use that and work with that to improve for that with future online courses as we work later down the line. And in addition to these self-paced online courses, we also ventured into VILT for the first time. Our EMEA Learning Program Manager, Martin, who's also with us today, gave this all of his attention, and with the stereotypical German efficiency, worked with the support team to convert all of our instructor-led training courses into VILT format within the space of 3 weeks. And he did this as well as working with the internal L&D team to develop a virtual train-the-trainer course to make sure all of our instructors were prepared for the new format. So certainly a busy year for customer education this year. Okay, and on to our third bucket. With the fantastic new tools and the new content in place, the next step was to make sure users were aware and were making use of it. So at the various phases throughout 2019 and 2020, with the launch of our new LMS, with the creation of so much great new content, and with the pressing needs of the COVID-19 situation to educate customers from home, we use strategic marketing campaigns to help drive awareness and drive consumption of our learning content, And this was done in close collaboration with marketing, with sales, to ensure correct messaging was sent out and to ensure that all necessary channels were leveraged to maximise our reach. Having previously reported into marketing, we were familiar and available with the available channels, and used things like email for kind of broad and targeted communications, social media. We have our own YouTube channel, website banners, slides, etc., etc. And I think one of the often overlooked marketing channels is definitely internal marketing, which we used heavily, working with a lot of the teams inside OSIsoft, the customer success, the support and services guys, the sales and marketing teams, and helping raise their awareness, which they in turn passed on to their customers. So that was really crucial in helping us reach the audience that we have this year. Okay. And now comes the fun part. So as an engineer at heart, I couldn't resist throwing in the following quotes. If we have data, let's look at data. If all we have are opinions, let's go with mine. That's definitely one of the challenges for the learning teams is having that data there to support your decisions and get justification for new processes and projects moving forward. Our successes aren't easy to learn from unless we have the data to understand them. So let's look at the results of our grand plan and see what worked. So on the measured impact of our projects, we looked at reducing costs as being one of the focuses for the new executive team, getting ourselves whipped into shape and getting the belts tightened. So through our technology projects, especially the one with the training cloud environments, the project to improve the deployment and management system, we were able to reduce costs by 40% for 2019. And that again has scope to increase further over this year and future years. So this will be year-on-year savings. So that was a huge boost for us, and it also improved the performance and reliability of the systems, which made it a lot easier for instructors and customers as well to spin up their own environments more efficiently. On the content creation front, we were able to repurpose all 6 of our instructor-led classroom training courses into VILT formats. So we see the number of courses offered in 2019 versus 2020 here, as well as almost doubling the number of self-paced online courses, all within 2 months from the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. Were these all perfect? Absolutely not. Do they have room for improvements? Yes, but I think for us, that'll be for next year's conference. Like many of you, we got through a lot very quickly, and we've learned so much about what more we can do to improve. But in terms of progress, it really feels like we've gone through a full year's worth of work within the single quarter that the pandemic's hit hard. And in terms of the VILT and the online courses, I will leave space at the end of the presentation today, so feel free to shoot any questions my way after that, as well as having Martin and Andreas here available to answer questions as well. Now, on our third bucket of consumption, this trend was definitely one that's got a lot of attention over recent months. With the tech and content in place, again, we used all the available channels to market. And like many folks, as we've seen in the recent presentation as well, many of us were offering certain amount of free promotions during this time as well. So for us, we offered a 30-day free promotion for self-paced online learning to help aid customers and partners with learning opportunities during this time. And being unable to travel to our classroom training centres. This resulted in a rather large amount of activity on multiple fronts. So as we can see from our learning website or Google Analytics traffic, the trend here shows all of the activity from the beginning of 2019 So this, from January until August, was the old site that we had. Then we launched our new LMS in August, which with the marketing campaigns at that time came with an obvious jump in traffic. But the interesting thing was that people were staying for longer, so the number of users had ramped up on average 250%, and the number of page views had also jumped up almost 500% as well. So we thought, wow, this is incredible. And then came COVID-19, and we've seen we were only skimming the tip of the iceberg. So with the promotion we ran out at the COVID-19 period, adding the new content, giving the free promotion, and raising awareness through multiple channels, we had a huge hit, which continued to increase over the following weeks. And we managed to get an increase of around 2,000% in the average number of users per day, and then a 3,600% for the page views. So people were signing up thick and fast, and this has really been steady since then. So it's been incredible, pushing our systems really to the limit with the amount of traffic and registrations that we've had. But we never thought we'd be in this position to be able to educate so many people all at once. So we were really very, very thankful for that. On the next slide, this shows how this converted from the site traffic into actually consumption of the online learning content. So that's around about a 10x increase in online course registrations. And in looking at the audiences, we found we were engaging a whole new range of customers and partners that we hadn't been touching before, and also prospects who typically didn't engage too much with our learning content until post-sale. And finally, in terms of supporting our company goals of additional revenue, the above successes in the different areas have really put us in a great position to be able to offer something like a learning subscription moving forward, offering that from 2021. So with subscriptions, we really needed that solid infrastructure for online learning in place. We needed that efficient content creation process and the fuller course catalogue available, as well as a larger audience with whom to sell the subscriptions. So all of that was part of our long-term plans, and thankfully we've been able to achieve much of that over the recent months. And the next steps are going to be mapping out this subscription business plan for 2021. And I've been speaking to guys like Dirk, who's been helping share some research and some insights on the work that he's done with subscriptions. So I look forward to hearing a bit more from him about that and pricing in the next presentation. But we'll definitely be happy to share our progress on a lot of this as we go. And in the application, the guys had asked me to share our top 3 lessons learned. So I think the 3 bullet points here definitely highlight the main items that we came across. So planning for the long run. I mean, all of this stuff was part of our 5-year plan. It just happened a little quicker than anticipated. So much of the groundwork was done in 2018 and before to research the necessary technology landscape. Implementation was carried out in 2019, and then content was planned for the full year of 2020. COVID-19 definitely presented these unexpected opportunities to fast-track this, and the demand within our customer base also helped generate the awareness and engagement in bulk. On collaboration, it's absolutely key to drive these projects successfully. I recently heard someone joking that IT can be your worst nightmare or your best friend. I can definitely attest to that. But it's imperative to build that collaboration with teams like IT, with customer success and sales and marketing to ensure that joint success. And on the last point, put your learners first. Especially with the technology and the content along the way, there was a lot of nice to have items that came up that could potentially have added complexity. There was things that seemed to make sense, but but they were kind of outside the core scope of the projects. And the more you add, the more complex the projects become. So I think keeping it simple, delivering what your customers and learners need to be successful, I think with that you can't go far wrong. More can always be added later, but it's tougher to take things out once they're in there. So put the learners first and keep it simple is definitely one of the key bits of advice as well. Okay. And with that, I have come to a quick end to the presentation. So I'd like to hand it over, and as I said, I wanted to leave some time at the end because we've been through such a broad area of attack over the recent year and a half. I think it would be nice to be able to discuss and share some ideas from yourselves, as well as any questions that I can answer. So with that, I'll open it up. If Mike or Kevin, you want to unmute folks.
Okay, so everybody is unmuted if you'd like to ask a question. And we've got the first question here from Simon. Would you say COVID was the real driver of consumption?
It's an interesting question, and I've asked myself that same one several times. It's difficult to understand why that would be the real driver of consumption, but we offered, it was interesting doing the comparison, and I'll click back a few slides to this one. So between the two promotions that we launched, the one for the new LMS for the launch campaign and the COVID-19 campaign for marketing, these two promotions were identical in every way. We used exactly the same channels. We used exactly the same discount, 100% discount for online learning. Everything that we could do was done in the same way. And with the one for the LMS launch, we've seen a huge kind of ramp up in usage. So we thought this promotion has been great. We'll do the same again for COVID-19. So the only difference between the two was the situation and the kind of time of year. So when we launched the COVID-19 campaign, we were expecting kind of similar jump, maybe slightly higher increase, but we're not expecting anywhere near the level of interaction that we got. And I really can't think what else could have been the driver. And it was funny speaking to some of the global team, you know, the promotion had been pushed far and wide, whether that was picked up from people outside of OSIsoft and shared with other channels. I think one of our guys, Alex from Australia, who manages our APAC learning, he came across our learning promotion actually in one of the Australian bargain hunter websites, you know, where people go for shopping online, and he actually found our learning promotion in there for some reason by accident. So the promotion probably carried a lot further than the earlier one had, just because, again, of the situation. So I don't know if it was the demand was higher or just the promotion itself was carried further, but definitely COVID-19 was the key driver that played a part in the difference. So I hope that answers the question.
Okay, I haven't got any more questions in the chat, so would anyone like to ask a question?
I've got another one, Kevin, if that's okay.
Yeah.
What was said earlier, great. So we cited earlier that one of the challenges obviously was IT. They're a key stakeholder, and obviously you highlighted at the end how collaboration is key, so I get that. How did you win over IT? How did you get IT to play ball? What was the sort of sweet spot that got them on board?
So it was challenging. There was a lot going on for IT at this time, and we completely understood the situation they were in. So they were going through a full CRM replacement, implementation of our new system. So for them, that was a huge project. But I think for us to get their buy-in, I think it was just understanding where they were, what the challenges were on their side. So a lot of a lot of meetings, a lot of listening on our part, understanding, and then I think just looking at the overall landscape, making sure our piece of the puzzle fitted into their longer term plans within IT, and for us being able to take away some of these in-house developed systems, the likes of our LMS, likes of the manual integration with the training cloud environments, to get there, to take this off their hands longer term, a little bit of investment at this time would be a longer term benefit both for us and for them. So it was just getting their buy-in from that viewpoint, I think, was key for us.
Great, thanks.
Okay. Any other questions from anyone? I just like this particular slide. The impact was huge.
Yeah, that was definitely one our LMS vendor liked.
Yeah. Okay, Mike, anything else coming in?
Can't see anything.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you very much, Craig. It's great to see what you've been doing, and I would say for everybody, there was a good range of applications this time, and it was really good to find one that really demonstrated such good impact. And congratulations to OSIsoft and all of the team there, Craig. So well done to everybody.